Good evening and welcome to Live at Roland-Garros. It's your daily dose of action from the French Open. We have more sunshine, we have more matches and more great guests on its way. With plenty of live tennis still going on. That's the beauty of the time we're on at. There will still be tennis taking place as day 4 draws to a close. Now, we'd like to hear from you. So on the social media platforms, you know what to do. Use the hashtag RG17. They'll come through to us. Maybe you have a comment, maybe you have a question for our guests or something about a player that you like that might be in the tournament, or maybe they are no longer. Hashtag RG17. So we have Luca Pouille on the court behind us. We'll be keeping up to date with him. We've got Dominika Sibylkova over to my right on Susan Longland and action elsewhere. So stay with us for the next half an hour or so. And I'm very happy to say that joining Nick and I in the studio this evening, Gunter Bresnik, the coach of Dominik Thiem. Gunter, firstly, thank you. I know you're busy at the moment, so thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thanks for the invitation.
And I was wondering, you've been in coaching for, I would say, about 3 decades now. So
exactly 30 years. 87 was my first French Open.
Your first French Open. So what do you remember of that French Open? Who were you coaching then, and what are your memories?
In 87, I was coaching a young Austrian guy called Skov. And for me, I have a different background. I was not coaching or playing before. I was studying medicine. So for me, it was basically a dream coming true to be part also, even it's only as a coach at an event like this. Everybody in Europe is looking forward, considering tennis, going to French Open and Wimbledon.
So how do you go from studying medicine to becoming a tennis coach? It seems quite a leap.
It happened by accident. I was pretty fine in my studies already. But the opportunity to work with Horst and was a dream for me, and then he did really well in the first year, and then I just got stuck there.
Gunter, this being your 30th anniversary at the French Open, how much is this place, I mean, is this recognizable to what was here 30 years ago when you first walked on the grounds?
It changed a lot, I have to say this. I mean, Philippe Chatrier court got much bigger. Susan Longland was not here yet. At that time it was Court 1, the bullfighter arena, and it improved a lot, but it was a great tournament 30 years ago already.
Now we've got live action taking place. I can tell you that Luca Pouille has just taken the first set on a tiebreak against Thomas Bellucci. That match taking place on the court behind us. And Gunter, there is something about French players playing at the French Open, and they get struck by nerves, they get struck by the pressure, but they find it, despite the fact he's taken the first set here, but largely French players find it very difficult to play here.
For many players, it's difficult to play in front of the home crowd. On the one hand, they get a lot of support, but on the other hand, they feel the pressure a lot more. And hearing for years and years now that Yannick Noah was the last guy to succeed here, it's a big burden for them. And it was also difficult for Andy Murray in London, after I don't know how many decades, to be the first British guy to win the Wimbledon trophy.
There is that home pressure. We'd like to talk to you about your charge, Dominik Thiem. He was in action today against Simone Bolelli. From a coaching point of view, how happy were you with today's performance?
I cannot say that I was happy about the performance. I'm happy about the result. He got through in 3 straight sets, not wasting too much energy. And this is important for somebody who considers himself of maybe one guy with an outside chance to win the title here.
That's very important, conserving energy. I remember last year, people said the difference between Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray winning the title was the extra 5 hours that Andy Murray had spent on the court in the build-up to the final.
It is definitely at all the Grand Slam tournaments, but especially on clay. I think it's very, very important to be careful with your energy. On the other hand, it's good to get in a good groove by hitting enough balls. So everything has up and down sides.
Gunter, he comes back, Dominik comes back to Roland-Garros, having made the semifinals last year. Does that feel like it gives him confidence, or do you feel like there's more pressure on him to repeat that feat?
All the pressure he has, he makes himself. I think he gets no pressure from me or from his parents. Maybe the Austrian spectators expect him to do well again.
Right.
But I think he's not at the stage yet where he can repeat semi-finals appearances at Grand Slams yet.
You've been working with Dominik since he was 8, I think that's right. How did that come about that you started to work together?
his father came in '97. Dominic was 4 years old at that time and asked me to work at my academy as a coach. And I asked him if he's married and has kids. He wanted to work with high-level sports, so competitive players. And I told him, go back home, take care of your wife and your kids, and get these stupid things out of your head. and he came back next morning and said, no, Gunter, I decided I want to work here even if you pay me nothing. And then when he always brought his son along, and we started working at the beginning maybe 1 hour a day. And at the age of 12, he was working 3 to 4 hours, day in, day out. Wow. And at the weekends, he even continued with his father probably at home.
Because I saw a lovely quote from Dominic who said, without Gunter, tennis would probably just be a hobby for me, and that working with you really made it and gave him the career that he's having now.
That's a nice compliment, but I have to say I choose to put so much attention and work into him because he was so determined and he was so enthusiastic about the game at a very early age already. And I felt if he would not get injured or sick, he's going to be a player with a great career.
Could you see that at, say, 8 years old or 12 years old? Or when do you see in a young player, maybe it's specific to Dominic, that you felt like he's got that future in tennis, not just as a good player, but as a professional player?
To be really sure, I think you have to wait after puberty. Yeah, at somebody who is 8-10-year-old kid and he likes to work is great pleasure, and it gives you back already enough if you see the kid work hard. But to be sure that he's gonna make it through in men's tennis, you have to wait after puberty. And he's a boy who developed very late. He was a child for a very long time, so I was really sure between 16 and 18.
What do you believe is the difference between Dominic this year to last year? Because we're all talking about this incredible start to the year, especially on the clay courts, and that victory over Rafa Nadal in Rome and the 2 finals in Madrid and Barcelona. Is it just another year progression, or is it something you've done or worked on or something that's changed?
They're not major changes, but physically he got a lot stronger. He's working now since 1.5 years with a physiotherapist, German guy, Alex Stober, which was very, very important to develop his career. And then it's a natural development by just having a lot of matches and getting more mature.
Did you have a little fist pump when he beat Nadal in Rome? I mean, that was an incredible performance and it was an incredible result. Was there a little bit of a kind of
It was not a little fist bump, it was a big fist bump.
That's good.
I freaked almost out because to beat the best player on clay of all time is a very good achievement, especially in Rome. He beat him last year in Buenos Aires already, but the win in Rome in the quarterfinals is a huge success.
Was it then there was the match against Novak Djokovic, and I know Djokovic's level changed, but does a result like that against Nadal, does it take everything out of you, and is it hard to get back up again?
It would be a nice explanation for the really, really bad result.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about this. And it's not easy for a young player like him, who is a very emotional and very sensitive guy, to play day in and out at the same level. But it's definitely something he needs to learn to maybe follow those guys in their footsteps.
Now, I must ask you about Andre Agassi. You've been coaching for 30 years. You've seen the rise of the super coaches. What about Andre Agassi being back coaching and with Novak Djokovic?
I think it's great. I mean, I met Andre Agassi first time in '87 in a small tournament in Itaparica, an island in front of Brazil. So the first tournament he won.
Really?
In '87. I think he was 17 years old at that time. And to see him come back on the tour, having, I think, I think he has the qualities Djokovic needs right now to lift his level to where it was last few years. And I think it's a great thing for tennis to have him back. Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting. I just want to jump in because I want to check out where Eli is. Eli, where exactly have you found yourself this evening?
I'm courtside, Court Philippe Chapuis. I can't speak too loud because there's actually a match behind me. Luc Chapuis, up a set. He was down 5-2, won the tiebreaker. He's up a set. I have a question for Gunter. Gunter, is Dominic, is he the one who showed the way to the next gen, that it's possible to beat these guys, the big four? Is he showing them the way?
Nice to think like this, but Pui beat Nadal last year already at the US Open, an impressive 5-setter. I think Zverev, the way he won Rome a few weeks ago, 10 days ago. Kyrgios is a guy who beat all the big guys already. So there's a bunch of players who have the abilities to follow up Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Murray, and also Wawrinka.
Do all those guys push each other? I mean, you just mentioned all of these sort of next-gen names, but does it feel like Dominic has this sort of crop of teammates that he's rising against this generation that's dominated? The Big Four has dominated for so long.
Some of them, they know each other really well from juniors on. Zverev is the youngest out of all of them, but Kyrgios, Pui, and Dominic, they played in the juniors together. And definitely, I think this is a very special group of players who have the game and also the mind to maybe really build the next generation, which is, I think, very, very difficult to fill up again, because Nadal and Federer got tennis to a complete different level, not only because of their tennis, but because of their personalities and the way they attract the audience and the fans. This is a complete new level.
Now, you might not want to answer this, but do you feel like Dominic is ready to win a Grand Slam? I mean, he's got the talent. We all have seen that. But do you feel like mentally, physically, he's ready to go 7 5-set matches?
I think he's physically and mentally ready. But the problem are still Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. In this case, especially Djokovic and Nadal, which he would need to beat both to get to the finals, and then he's only in the finals probably expecting Murray or Heber from the other half. So this is a very risky prediction.
We had the tournament director of Roland-Garros, Guy Forget, with us at the start of the week, and I asked everybody for their predictions, and he said, look, it's not a crazy thing to say that Nadal is my pick, but I do believe that Dominic Thiem, and he said, I'll buy you all dinner if this doesn't happen, I do believe Dominic Thiem will win Roland-Garros one day.
I'm going to pay for the dinner if it works out that way.
You can join us for dinner.
Absolutely.
I love to, but it's a really nice compliment, and I hope it goes in this direction. But as I said, Zverev, who got beaten yesterday, but definitely a potential #1 player in the next 4 or 5 years, and for sure a Grand Slam winner. Kyrgios, who is getting his act back together. And there are a lot of other guys as well who are going to compete for this. And I think Raonic, Nishikori, they're still going to be around for a while. Djokovic is 30, 31. If you see what Federer does at 30, 36, so you really have to probably deal with them also for a while.
And you mentioned that it would be, because he's in that half the run, Nadal and Djokovic would have to beat. If we just touch on Andy Murray, last year's finalist, and Stan Wawrinka, a former champion, how do you see those two players at the moment with perhaps more question marks over Andy Murray?
I watched Murray's match yesterday, and I think it was pretty impressive, especially the third and the fourth set. And having Lendl probably on the bench again gives him an additional boost. Wawrinka won last week again, tournament in Geneva, so he's, I think, also on a good roll again. It looks like those two guys are going to fight for the spot in the finals.
I'm just wondering with Dominic, he's a massive Chelsea fan and he wears his Chelsea shirt in post-match press conferences and wants to know the result. Do you ever have to try and give him the result? Because when Chelsea won the championship, he wrote on the camera at the end of his match, "Congratulations, Chelsea." Who's giving him this information? How's he finding out these results when he's down there? Are you helping him, Gunter?
No, I don't know. I think he's telepathic, not connected to Chelsea. Oh, it's more important to get the Chelsea results than the tennis results.
Well, he definitely got it on that occasion. Now, I don't know if this is, we are going to let you go because I know you're busy, and I don't know if this is an unfair question, and you can pick Dominic, but who is your tip to lift this title in a couple of weeks' time from the men's draw?
It's probably very boring, but it's Nadal. I think it's very difficult to beat here.
No, that's perfect. Gunter, thank you so much for coming in. We say it to everyone. If you'd like to come in again anytime, 7 o'clock, the seat is yours.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Lovely to have Gunter Bresnik with us, the coach of Dominic Thiem. Now, for you, it's our match of the day. It involved a Frenchman who said hello and goodbye over 2 days, but during the course of the same match, it was the demise of Jo-Wilfried Tsonga.
Do you think the match being suspended didn't help you after that kind of big moment where you'd just broken him last night?
I mean, after that, I can say it doesn't help me. I wish it can be different, of course, and it can help me. But yeah, it was difficult to come back. But anyway, you know, I gave what I have to give, and that's it. You know, we played solid. It took some time for me to be a little bit more precise. It took 2-3 points who were too much.
Renzo Olivo, the victor from Argentina, he goes through. But Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, his earliest defeat since 2005 here.
Yeah, hugely disappointing for Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. He comes in here after a title, coming in with a lot of momentum, I think a lot of expectation. But a lot of players have said this too. Maybe you're tired. The legs feel a little bit. But also, Renzo Olivo, hats off to him. Literally, because his hat's on the table, right? He comes through his first ever Roland-Garros match, and it's a win over a Frenchman on Chatrier. That's big time, Gigi.
But when they resumed the match, because they finished in darkness, but I thought the wonderful thing was there was no complaints from the players. At one point, in darkness, Jo-Wilfried Tsonga looked up to the chair and said, "Are we going off soon?" And you actually couldn't see anything. They came back today. The game lasted 7 minutes. It was a fourth match point for Renzo Olivo. It was love 40 at one stage. Tsonga fought his way back. But as you say, all credit to the guy from Argentina. He's making his Roland-Garros debut. And look how he does it.
Well, and it looked like he blew his chance, right? Because he gets up love 40 in that game, and then Tsonga saves 3 match points in a row, and you feel like, oh, well, now this match is turned. I literally said in our office, 7-5, 6-love. That's what I thought that set would end.
Oh, wow, okay.
And go to a fifth. But Olivo, prove me wrong.
Yeah, no, he certainly did. I think this is a good time, and we're going to keep an eye on the action because we've still got Eli stationed in, or shall I say on.
Has he been kicked out
Chatrier.
yet?
I think he's still on the court right next to Luca Pouille, so we're going to be checking in with him. But there's a number of other matches that have finished today, so we thought we'd take a section and just run through those and start with defending champion Garbine Muguruza, because she had a really tough match on paper against Aniek Kontaveit, a player who had beaten her earlier in the year at Stuttgart.
Yeah, absolutely. Garbine Muguruza, the defending champion here, comes through a fight, losing that first set in a tiebreak, but really steely tennis. She's trying to keep it simple. It wasn't a simple scoreline, but she simply wins, and that's what you want to do at the end of the day.
Yeah, you certainly do. A really big win for her. Venus Williams, her sister might be on maternity leave, but Venus is still hard at it.
Yeah, and Serena Williams in the stands. Twitter was going wild that Serena Williams at the French Open. Venus playing her 20th Roland-Garros, and she rolls through. This was a good win for her, 3-1, convincing.
The fairy tale has come to an end for Petra Kvitova, but plenty of positives for her to take out, and what a win for Bethany Mattek-Sands.
Huge for Bethany. She came through qualifying. Now she's won 5 matches in total. She moves on to the 3rd round, but look at this. It's a win for Petra Kvitova in life. She comes back to tennis after that horrible, horrendous, disgusting thing that happened to her 5 months ago. Great embrace there.
Grigor Dimitrov had 0 points on clay to defend this year, and he'll be very happy with how things are going.
Grigor Dimitrov started this year as one of the informed players in tennis. Brisbane win, Australian Open semifinal. He really has nothing to lose on clay, as you said. This is a great win over Tommy Robredo. Not only a win, but in straight sets.
Caroline Wozniacki, we know that clay isn't her best service, but we know she will fight, she will grind out results. And how happy will she be with this result?
She is so happy. She won herself a double bagel. Maybe rewards herself. I don't think Carol's gluten-free, right, Gigi? She wins 6-love, and we never talk about her on clay, but she's in that section that had Angelique Kerber. Now gone, she could definitely be into the second week.
Big serving, Milos Raonic. He's another one of those players who just quietly goes about his business.
Yeah, absolutely, Milos. She had a great run in Rome as well. Lost the first set in this match, but comes through. Another player, again, could he make a run here in Roland-Garros for the first time? Possibly.
Now, we're highlighting these players that just quietly go about their business, and then suddenly, latter stage of this tournament, they pop up. And here's another one in Timea Bacsinszky.
Yeah, Timea Bacsinszky, a former semifinalist, a former quarterfinalist. We really know her as a clay court expert. She's had a little dip in form. She's seeded 30th this year, but wow, 2 games lost to Madison Brengle. That's a result that she'll be happy with as she moves into the 3rd round.
Madison Brengle, the only player to beat Serena Williams this year, and so much emotion out here for the American Steve Johnson. He recently lost his father. He came through a tough match about Borna Coric, and then the tears came.
Yeah, I mean, these are pictures that you remember, and you just watch Steve Johnson. His dad died unexpectedly. His dad had been really the person that put him into tennis, and he's feeling it out there. He said he didn't know what to do after his dad passed away a few weeks ago, except come back and play tennis.
Sometimes it's good to have that distraction. For him, tennis is such a large part of his life, but that raw emotion, the scoreline, the match he came through, and then suddenly he just the letdown.
Yeah, I mean, you let it all out. You leave it all out on the court, and so much social media support we're watching coming through for Steve Johnson. He deserves it. John Isner tweeting Stevie J, because he really is this guy that a lot of people, especially in the States, respect so much, and his dad was such a big part of his tennis life. You're so happy for him to see him get that win today.
Yeah, we really are absolutely really happy. And I believe he faces Dominic Thiem in the next round.
That is right.
Now, we mentioned that the live action is still going on. And from our fabulous position, we're right in front of Philippe Chatrier. It's the main court. We can hear the cheers, and you can really hear them if there's a French player in action. We've also got a French reporter almost in action, because, Eli, you still on the court?
I am, and I'm not going to, again, not going to talk too loud, but Lucas Pouille up a break, and this is what the French Open is all about. 8 evening matches on center court with the sun, the beautiful light. For those of you who know Roland-Garros, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't, check it out. This is what Roland-Garros is about. The French crowd, the French player, beautiful light. I'm staying here.
Eli, just give us a little bit more of a flavor of the emotion, especially when Pouille wins a point.
Well, it's very simple. When Bellucci wins a point, there is absolutely no noise. And when Lucas wins a point, it just, Lucas. And that was, you felt that really, really well at the end of the tiebreaker, because Pouille was down 5-2 and came back to win the tiebreaker. So now he's up a break. Looks like he's got the upper side. Hopefully we won't lose 2 big Frenchies today.
Eli, thank you very much. We hope we're not going to lose you. I don't think he's going to get carted off. I think he's done all right there.
That's a great seat that Eli has. I hope he doesn't lose it, absolutely. But a great seat, Eli. Save me one. I'm going to be there after the show.
Now, something I wanted to talk with you about, and we said on our very first show that you're going to be looking into, is social media, because it's a big part. I just feel a little bit old, but it is such a big part of life these days.
Come on, you're a Twitter star, Gigi Salmon.
I wouldn't use the word star, but I am on Twitter. But it is a way that the fans can connect with the players, and they get to know a little bit more about them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, social media, I think, is one thing that a lot of the players weren't sure of when it first came about, but now they've embraced it. Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Today on Twitter, it was all about Serena Williams. Now, Venus is the one playing, but Serena actually making an appearance. You see her in the player box there.
Very relaxed.
Cheering on. Yeah, very relaxed, hanging out in the shade. Why not? Easier than playing a tennis match.
When you're a pregnant woman, you have to take it easy, and you have to get lots of shade, and that's exactly what Serena Williams
was doing.
And it was amazing, because everyone was saying, Venus is playing, is Serena here? Is she going to turn up? Is she going to be here? And there she is, just taking it easy.
And at one point, literally, my entire Twitter feed was just Serena sighting. Serena. Confirmed, yes, Serena was here, watching Venus, cheering Venus on, and helped Venus to that victory.
Someone else who's dominated social media since she confirmed that she was returning to action is Petra Kvitova.
Yeah, absolutely. Social media exploded when Petra made that announcement. This was after her first round match, a thank you, and we kind of all have to say thank you to Petra for coming back. And if we look also at the response on social media, everyone was weighing in how happy they were to see Petra Kvitova back. I love this tweet from Andrea Pekovic. Petra, I'm not crying, you're crying. I may have welled up just a little bit. I think tears shed over, happy tears over Petra Kvitova coming back.
Someone else Bosphorus making a comeback. His first appearance here since 2012. One of the most laid-back guys on the tour, Juan Martín del Potro.
Yeah, Juan Martín also coming back, right? I was actually surprised. I didn't realize it hasn't been since 2012. He walked out onto court 6 just yesterday, won that match. But I
How
love
nice
this.
is that for you, by the way?
How Parisian is that, Gigi, right? Hanging out, having a nice little snack on his terrace. His place looks a little nicer than my hotel. I just want to put it out there.
Your hotel's lovely.
No,
Sure, it's lovely.
not as lovely as Juan Martín del
And maybe
Potro's
just
terrace.
not that view. Now, someone who wanted to have a snack, didn't know where to find a snack, was Caroline Wozniacki, and now she's had her double bagel. She will need somewhere else to go tonight.
It's all about food with the Woz, and she's asking for advice. I loved this. She got so many responses to this tweet, but look at the two on the top. Luca Pouille, he knows Paris pretty well, and Boris Becker,
Yeah.
both giving Caro advice on where to go eat.
That's pretty cool, isn't
We
it?
have to find out if Caro actually took their advice, though,
Okay.
right?
I'm going to leave that with you.
Okay, I will try. I can't get people's picks for champion, but I will find out which restaurant Caroline.
Because I
Wozniacki
got
ate
the pick from Gunter.
You
Remember,
did.
you're still
You did.
It's struggling a little
Yes.
bit. Now, something else we just had to show. It's an incredible thing. They are cameras in the players' locker room. Now, obviously the players know they're there. They can play up to them. They can ignore them. But it's the most incredible thing. I think if you had 24 hours of this footage, people would sit and watch this footage. It's priceless.
Well, this is the kind of stuff, actually, when we were talking about doing the show, it's kind of like, let's just do a player lounge cam for the whole 30 minutes,
This is
right?
amazing.
This is the cool stuff that we want to see.
And it's weird stuff like charging a phone
Yeah.
and having a look and picking up your bag, but it's stuff that people don't get to see.
Well, and what I love about these shots, too, is that tennis players are pros at waiting. Kristina Mladenovic hanging out, waiting for her next match. Rain delay, long match, 5-setter, waiting. You see that all. We'll have more of that throughout the tournament,
100%.
right?
And remember, you can go to RolandGarros.com and you'll get all the results. You'll get the schedule for tomorrow. We'll do a little bit of that a little bit later, but it's here where you will get the locker room footage and also where you will get quizzes with the players. And the first person to take the quiz and sit in the hot seat is world number 22, John Isner.
Oh, UNC. NFL. Uber. These are tough. Beef jerky. Gumbo. MJ. Beyonce. Roger. Sorry, Rafa. Ivanisevic. Roland. Messi.
I have to tell you, Gigi Salmon, that he did that quiz. Eli executed. I was watching from behind the scenes, and he hesitated on a few of the answers. But there was no hesitation on Beyonce. He knew he was choosing Beyonce over Bruce Springsteen.
And one other thing, he did say it was really hard, the quiz questions.
Yeah.
I mean, we've managed to speed it up and put it together so you get the answers, but there was a few who was thinking, this is really tough. I don't know which way to go with this. And do you think anyone would ever go Tinder over Uber? I'm waiting for someone to say Tinder.
I think if we get an honest response, I think John Isner has a girlfriend, so smart answer there. But I love that he actually said this is so hard when we asked him the question about beef jerky or sunflower seeds. We only ask the hard questions at Live on Roland
Yeah,
Garros.
I'm not sure. I don't think I could give an answer to that. Time is against us. Play continues. It's time to look at the order of play tomorrow. And as always, I will ask you to maybe grab a match that you
Sure.
think is going to grab your attention. So we'll start on Philippe Chatrier and see what we've got to come. And there's just a feast of tennis. So let's get stuck into these matches that are taking place. Philippe Chatrier, Barbara Strycova against Alizé Cornet. Then we've got Wawrinka, Dolgopolov, Montero, Monfils, Alexandrov and Pliskova. It's Karolina Pliskova. Moving on to Susan Longland, we've got Alison van Uytvanck against Agnieszka Radwanska, Murray Klizan, Maria Halep and Gasquet Estrella Burgos. So what is your match? What is the one for us to look out for? And will it make our match of the day tomorrow night?
Yeah, it certainly could. I'm picking Martin Klizan against Andy Murray. Murray struggled as far as the clay season goes. And Martin Klizan is someone who can zone. He can tree, as we call it in tennis, zone in and hit through the court. He hits a very hard ball. Could he hit through Andy Murray? I don't know. We'll see.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Thank
Been an
you.
absolute pleasure. And just to let you know that Thomas Bellucci is now 4-1 down that second set against Luca Pouille. Pouille having taken the first set, and Svetlana Kuznetsova, who we heard from on the show last night, the 2009 champion. She is doing very well, looking very comfortable so far in her match against Oceana Dodin. Thank you again for your company. We hope to have it again. Remember to tell your friends. We'll be with you 7 o'clock local time every night. The matches will still be going on. We'll have some great guests coming in, and we'll get some players to take some more quizzes and see if anyone is going to say Tinder over Uber. Hashtag RG17 if you'd like to get in touch with the show as Nick tries on the hat. And we're going to leave you this evening with a few of the players who are in action tomorrow. Take care. Bye for now.